Have you ever felt it? That strange, unexplainable sensation in your gut when someone asks you for something. Something that seems ordinary, but for some reason, it unsettles you. The kind of request that feels like a hand reaching into your mind, pulling at unseen strings, testing the limits of your trust. There's a reason for that feeling. Not all people who ask for something want only what they claim. Some requests are traps, carefully disguised as favors, harmless inquiries, or innocent needs, but beneath them, there lies an unspoken contract, an expectation, a hidden cost. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "If you wish to be free, do not let yourself be entangled in obligations you do not understand." Because in this world, there are people who will ask of you things that seem small, but in reality, they are chains. Chains that bind your thoughts, your freedom, your very sense of self. Today, we uncover these chains. We will explore 6 things, 6 kinds of requests, that should set off alarms in your mind. 6 things that, when asked of you, reveal far more about the asker than they do about the request itself. 6 things that, once you recognize them, will forever change the way you see the people around you. But be warned, what you are about to learn may make you question relationships you once trusted. It may reveal truths you weren't ready to see. Because once you see the masks people wear, you can never unsee them. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Every like, subscribe helps us continue our mission of sharing knowledge. And leave a comment below and share your opinion on these things, or tell me which one resonates with you the most. Ready to unlock more wisdom? Let's get started. Thing 1. When they ask for your loyalty without earning it. Loyalty. It is a word that has shaped empires, destroyed kingdoms, and defined the strongest of bonds between men. It is the foundation of brotherhood, the essence of trust, and the root of all lasting relationships. And yet, it is also one of the most dangerous things a man can give away too easily. Wisdom seekers, think carefully. How many times in your life has someone demanded your loyalty? Not through actions, not through years of trust, but with words alone? A friend, a lover, a colleague, or even a stranger, asking you to stand by them, defend them, sacrifice for them, before they have ever proven they would do the same for you? There is a deep and unsettling truth in this world. The people who demand loyalty the most are often the ones who deserve it the least. They want it as a shield, a weapon, a tool, something to be used, rather than something to be earned. They will tell you that loyalty is the highest virtue. They will make you feel that questioning their intentions is a betrayal. They will wrap their words in honor, in duty, in friendship. But ask yourself this: what have they done to deserve such a gift? Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, wrote in his Meditations, "If someone is mistaken, instruct them kindly. But if they demand your obedience without reason, let them go their own way, for they are already lost." A wise man does not give his loyalty cheaply. He does not hand it over like a coin to be spent by whoever asks first. He observes, he tests, he sees not only what a person says, but what they do when the moment of hardship comes. Because loyalty, true loyalty, is not built on words, it is built on fire. Consider this: when a man asks for your loyalty, what he is truly asking is for a part of your freedom. He is asking you to stand with him, not just when he is right, but when he is wrong. He is asking you to fight battles that may not be yours, to take risks, to burn bridges, to close your eyes when he acts unjustly. And if a man is asking for this without first proving he would do the same for you, what does that say about him? There is a simple test, one that the Stoics would approve of. Before you give your loyalty, before you even consider pledging yourself to someone's cause, ask yourself, would they do the same for me? Not in words, but in action. Have they stood by you when it mattered? Have they defended you when you were not in the room? Have they made sacrifices for you without expecting anything in return? If the answer is no, then you have no obligation to give what they have never given themselves. Think of the false leaders, the manipulators, the ones who cry betrayal the moment you hesitate to follow them blindly. History is filled with them. Men who rise on the backs of others, who build castles out of borrowed loyalty, who surround themselves with those who serve, rather than those who think. And when the moment comes, when their power is tested, when the tide turns, what happens? The same people they demanded loyalty from are the first to be abandoned. Seneca, the great Stoic thinker, warned of such men when he said, "A wise man gives his trust carefully, for he knows that men often wear masks until the moment they no longer need them." Look closely, wisdom seekers. Those who ask for your loyalty too soon, too quickly, without effort or sacrifice, are revealing something about themselves. They are revealing that they see you as a tool, not as an equal, that they value your service more than your well-being, that they do not wish to build loyalty with you, but rather extract it from you like a resource to be spent. But there is something even more dangerous, something more insidious than just asking for loyalty. Some will not ask directly. Some will not use words at all. Instead, they will craft situations, engineer moments, create invisible obligations where none should exist. They will make you feel as if you owe them something. They will remind you of favors they have done, real or imagined, expecting payment not in gold, but in obedience. This is a trick as old as time, one used by those who understand human nature deeply. People fear being seen as ungrateful. They fear being called traitors. And so they give loyalty where none is due, simply to avoid the sting of guilt. But a Stoic man does not allow himself to be controlled by guilt. He sees through manipulation. He does not let the weight of obligation bend his principles. He knows that true loyalty is given freely, not taken through pressure or expectation. And so, the question must be asked. What do you do when someone asks for your loyalty without earning it? The answer is simple. You do nothing. You do not argue. You do not explain yourself. You do not engage in their game. You simply observe. Watch how they react when you do not immediately fall in line. Watch how their true nature reveals itself when they realize they cannot control you. A false leader, a manipulator, a user, they will become angry. They will call you untrustworthy, disloyal, weak. They will try to shame you, to turn others against you. But a true man, a man worthy of loyalty, will understand. He will not need to ask for what he knows he has already earned. So wisdom seekers, hear this well. Never trust the man who asks for your loyalty too soon. Never trust the one who demands but does not give. Never trust the one who values your obedience over your mind. Because the moment you give your loyalty to the wrong person is the moment you begin to lose yourself. And a man who loses himself in the service of another, without thought or reason, is no longer free. He is owned. And we, as men who seek wisdom, as men who walk the path of the Stoics, do not allow ourselves to be owned. We choose our allegiances with care. We give our loyalty as a reward, not as a gift. And when the time comes to stand, we stand not because we were asked, but because we chose. This is the way of the wise. This is the way of the free. Let us move forward, for there is more to uncover. Thing 2. When they ask you to keep their secrets but share none of their burdens. There are few things in this world more dangerous than a whispered secret. Secrets bind men together, forging alliances, debts, and silent understandings that can last a lifetime or destroy one in an instant. A secret is not just words, it is power. Power over those who hold it, and power over those who are entrusted with it. But wisdom seekers, beware. There is a type of person who will offer you their secrets, not as a sign of trust, but as a chain. They will come to you, voice lowered, eyes scanning the room, speaking of things others should not hear. They will swear you to silence, making you a guardian of their hidden truths. And for a moment, you may feel honored, important, chosen. But ask yourself this: why were you chosen? Was it because of trust, or was it because they see you as useful? There is a difference, and it is the difference between freedom and entrapment. A true friend, a brother in arms, shares his secrets in equal measure with his burdens. He does not ask you to carry the weight of his hidden knowledge without offering his own shoulder for your struggles. He does not trap you in silence while he moves freely. But there are those who will ask you to hold their secrets while they offer you nothing in return. This is no friendship. This is a transaction. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be wary of those who ask for silence but not for wisdom, for they do not seek protection, but control." Think of the weight of a secret. A man who knows something he should not, something that, if revealed, would bring ruin, conflict, or betrayal, is no longer free. He carries that knowledge in his mind like a locked box, one that grows heavier with time. If a man asks you to guard his secrets but does not stand by you in your own struggles, what is he really doing? He is placing a weight on your shoulders without lifting any from your own. This is not trust. This is manipulation. Look at the world around you. How many men have been ruined not by their own words, but by the secrets they carried for others? How many have been pulled into conflicts, betrayals, and dangers they never chose, simply because someone whispered in their ear and made them a keeper of things they never wanted to know? Seneca once warned, "The one who entrusts you with secrets he will not keep himself is not sharing, he is trapping." Because here is the truth, wisdom seekers. A secret is rarely given freely. More often than not, it is a burden disguised as a gift. When a man tells you something in confidence, when he swears you to silence, he is not just sharing knowledge, he is placing a weight on your soul. But here is the question no one asks. If a man truly trusted you, would he need to bind you in silence? Would he need to swear you to secrecy? Would he not simply speak openly, knowing that your loyalty, your respect, your wisdom would keep his words safe without the need for an oath? The moment someone says, "You must never tell anyone this," they are not just sharing something. They are controlling you. They are making you complicit in something that is not yours to bear. And worst of all, they are giving you responsibility for a burden they refuse to carry alone. But there is something even darker beneath this. Some do not just ask you to keep secrets. They use secrets as a test. They reveal things to you, carefully chosen, waiting to see how you react. They are not sharing, they are observing. They are watching if you will hesitate, if you will question, if you will break. Because if you keep their secret, they know they own a part of you. And what happens when they share another? And another? Until one day, you realize you are guarding things you wish you had never heard, that you are protecting a person who may not deserve protection, that you are bound by words spoken in the dark, words that now hold you in place like unseen chains. A wise man does not take on burdens he did not choose. He does not allow himself to be caught in webs spun by others. He does not let the secrets of another become the weight that slows his own path. And so, the question must be asked. What do you do when someone asks you to keep their secrets, but offers nothing in return? You must ask yourself, what do they stand to gain by telling me this? Because make no mistake, people do not share secrets without reason. Are they truly trusting you? Or are they testing you? Are they giving you something, or are they binding you to them? The Stoics believed in clarity, in openness, in truth. They did not believe in whispered deals, in shadows, in hidden knowledge that corrupts the soul. A man who asks you to keep his secrets but will not stand with you in the open is not a friend, he is a user. And the wise man does not allow himself to be used. But what happens when you refuse? What happens when you tell such a person, "I do not want to know"? When you make it clear that you do not carry what is not yours to hold. Watch them closely, for in that moment, their true nature will reveal itself. The manipulator will become angry. He will tell you that you are untrustworthy, that you are weak, that you are not a real friend. He will push, he will pressure, he will make you feel as though you are failing some unspoken duty. But the man of true honor? He will respect your choice, because he will understand that a secret should not be given. It should be shared equally, with trust on both sides. So listen well, wisdom seekers. Never trust the one who asks you to carry their secrets while they carry nothing of yours. Never trust the one who binds you in silence without first proving they would stand with you in the light. Never trust the one who whispers in the dark but walks away when you need a voice in the day. Because the man who asks for your silence but does not offer his strength in return does not want a friend. He wants a servant, a guardian for his lies, a shield for his fears. And the Stoic man is no one's shield but his own. Do not be owned. Do not be bound. Let the secrets of others remain with them, and walk your own path, free and unchained. For there is more to uncover, and the truth does not stop here. Thing 3. When they ask for your forgiveness, but not for change. There is a strange and terrible power in the words, "I'm sorry." Spoken with sincerity, they can mend broken friendships, restore trust, and heal wounds that time alone cannot. But spoken without meaning, without weight, they are nothing more than an illusion, a trick of the tongue designed to manipulate, to reset the game without ever changing the rules. Wisdom seekers, how many times have you seen it? A man wrongs you, betrays your trust, breaks his word, wounds you with his actions, and when confronted, he does not deny it. Instead, he looks you in the eye, sighs deeply, and says, "I'm sorry." And for a moment, the words feel like they matter. They feel like they carry weight, as if something has been made right. But then, time passes, and what happens? The same man, the same actions, the same betrayal, again and again. There is a fundamental truth about human nature that too many refuse to see. Some people do not seek forgiveness because they regret their actions. They seek forgiveness because they fear the consequences. They do not want to change. They want you to reset your expectations so they continue as they always have. Epictetus once said, "Do not judge a man by his words, but by what he does after the words are spoken." Because in the end, words are easy. Anyone can say, "I'm sorry." Anyone can express regret. But only a rare kind of man will change. Only a rare kind of man will take his apology and turn it into action, into proof, into something that can be measured not by his voice, but by his deeds. But those who do not wish to change, they understand something about the world, something dark, something powerful. They understand that most people are desperate for peace, for resolution. That most people want to believe in the goodness of others. And so, they weaponize forgiveness. They make it a tool, something they can call upon whenever they need a fresh start. And the most dangerous part? It works. Look at history, at men in power, at those who have risen and fallen and risen again. How many have been caught in their lies, exposed for their crimes, only to step forward, bow their heads, and ask for forgiveness? How many have faced public disgrace, only to return with carefully chosen words of regret, expecting the world to embrace them once more? And how often does the world oblige? Marcus Aurelius, the great philosopher-emperor, understood this well. He wrote, "To forgive is noble, but to forgive a man unchanged is to invite your own betrayal." Because here is the truth, wisdom seekers. An apology without change is not an apology. It is a performance, a strategy, a means to avoid the consequences of one's actions without ever truly confronting them. And so, the question must be asked. When a man asks for your forgiveness, what is he truly asking for? Does he seek redemption, or does he seek permission to hurt you again? There is a way to tell, a way to separate the sincere from the deceiver. Do not listen to his words. Do not be swayed by the softness in his voice, the sadness in his eyes, the weight of his sigh. Watch instead for the silence that follows. Watch for what happens in the days and weeks that come after. Does he alter his behavior? Does he make an effort not just in words, but in the small, unseen moments when no one is watching? Does he acknowledge, through his actions, that his apology was not just a plea for peace, but a promise to be better? Or does he return to his old ways, knowing that next time all he needs to do is say those two words again? A man who values you, who truly regrets his actions, will not need to be reminded to change. He will not wait for you to demand better from him. He will demand it from himself. But a man who seeks only to escape consequence, he will ask for your forgiveness, not because he respects you, but because he expects you to be fooled. This is why the Stoics believed in observing, not merely listening. They knew that men could lie with words, but could never lie with patterns. Seneca wrote, "The truest measure of a man is not in what he says he will do, but in what he does when nothing is left to say." But there's something deeper here, something even more dangerous than a man who asks for forgiveness without change. There are those who do not merely seek forgiveness, they demand it. They do not approach you with humility, with a willingness to repair what was broken. No, they come with expectation. You should let it go. You need to move on. If you don't forgive me, then you're the one with the problem. Do you see the shift? Do you see the manipulation? The man who truly regrets his actions does not tell you how to feel. He does not insist that you should erase the past simply because he wants to forget it. But the man who does not want to change, he will make you the villain for not wiping his slate clean. He will make you feel guilty for holding him accountable. He will try to convince you that you are in the wrong for not granting him the peace he refuses to earn. But a wise man does not fall for such tricks. A wise man understands that forgiveness is not something to be taken. It is something to be deserved, and no man is entitled to it simply because he asks. So what do you do when faced with such a person? When a man asks for forgiveness without proving he deserves it, you do not argue. You do not explain yourself. You do not allow yourself to be pulled into his web of guilt and expectation. You simply watch. You observe. You wait. And if he proves through his actions that he is worthy of the forgiveness he seeks, then and only then do you consider it. But if he does not, if his apology is nothing more than empty words meant to buy time before the next offense, then you owe him nothing. Remember this, wisdom seekers. Never trust the man who asks for your forgiveness but does not ask for change. Never trust the one who seeks your pardon but does not seek your respect. Never trust the one who apologizes only to reset the cycle, knowing that the next time, the words will work just as well. Because the moment you forgive a man who has not changed, you are not granting him mercy. You are granting him permission. And a man who believes he has permission to harm you will never stop. The Stoics understood this. They knew that forgiveness was a virtue, but that wisdom was greater. And wisdom demands that a man not only hear apologies, but see proof. Let others be fooled by words. We, as seekers of wisdom, demand actions, and if actions do not follow, then the apology was never real to begin with. And so we move forward, for there's still more to uncover. Thing 4. When they ask you to sacrifice, but offer nothing in return. Sacrifice. It is one of the most powerful forces in the world. It has built civilizations, forged unbreakable bonds, and proven the strength of a man's character. But it has also been used as a weapon, a manipulation, a way to take from others without ever giving back. Wisdom seekers, there is a harsh truth about the nature of sacrifice that many refuse to acknowledge. Not all who ask for it are worthy of it. A man's time, effort, energy, and loyalty, these are his most valuable possessions. They are not infinite. Once given, they cannot be reclaimed. And yet, there will always be those who demand them, who insist that you should give more, do more, be more, while they offer nothing in return. They will tell you that true strength lies in giving, that honor is found in sacrifice, that it is noble to endure hardship for the sake of another. But the question you must always ask is this: would they do the same for me? Look carefully, wisdom seekers, at the people who ask for your sacrifice. Are they men who have stood by you in your own struggles? Are they men who have carried your burdens, protected your interests, and given as much as they take? Or are they simply users, people who see your willingness to give as an opportunity to take? There is a certain type of person in this world who thrives on the sacrifice of others. They do not build, they do not create, they do not contribute. Instead, they collect. They gather people around them. Men who work tirelessly, men who give endlessly, men who break themselves in service to something that was never meant to serve them in return. These people wear many faces. Some call themselves leaders, some call themselves friends, some even disguise themselves as those in need, forever playing the victim, forever demanding that others lift them, while they make no effort to stand on their own. But beneath all their disguises, they are the same. They are takers, not givers. And a wise man does not waste himself on takers. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Give freely, but only to those who value the gift. Do not let your kindness be wasted on those who see it as weakness." This is a warning that too many fail to heed, because the takers of the world are skilled in their craft. They know exactly how to make you feel guilty for refusing. They know how to twist words, to frame things in a way that makes you believe that denying them is an act of selfishness. If you were a true friend, you would do this for me. A real man sacrifices for others. You owe me this after everything I've done for you. Do you see the pattern? It is never about them giving. It is never about fairness, about mutual respect, about shared burdens. It is always about you, what you should be doing, what you must give up, what you are expected to endure. And the moment you push back, the moment you hesitate, they reveal their true nature. The praise turns to insults. The gratitude turns to resentment. Seneca warned of such people when he said, "A man who takes but does not give is not a friend, but a master. And the wise man serves no master but himself." Look at your own life, wisdom seekers. How many times have you been asked to sacrifice for someone who would never do the same for you? How many times have you been made to feel guilty for setting boundaries, for valuing yourself, for choosing not to break under the weight of someone else's demands? And more importantly, How many of those people disappeared the moment you stopped giving? That is the ultimate test. A man who truly values you, who truly cares for you, will not disappear the moment you refuse to be used. But a taker, a user, a manipulator, they will show you exactly who they are the second they realize they cannot control you. But there is something even more dangerous than a man who takes without giving. There are those who do not just ask for sacrifice, they demand it as proof. Proof of loyalty, proof of friendship, proof of love. These are the ones who will not just ask you to give, but will frame your refusal as betrayal. If you really cared, you would do this. If you really wanted to help, you wouldn't hesitate. If you were truly loyal, you wouldn't question me. Do you see the trap? They do not want your help. They do not want your support. They want your obedience. They want you to prove over and over again that you will put them above yourself. But a wise man does not fall into this trap. A wise man knows that true sacrifice, meaningful, honorable sacrifice, is given, not demanded. It is done out of love, out of respect, out of a mutual bond where both parties give and take in equal measure. And so the question must be asked, what do you do when someone asks for your sacrifice but offers nothing in return? The answer is simple. You say no. Without guilt, without apology, without explanation. You walk away from those who believe they are entitled to your energy, but have never once considered what they should give in return. Because the moment you allow yourself to be drained by people who only take, you lose the ability to give to those who actually deserve it. And that is the greatest tragedy of all. A man only has so much to offer in his lifetime. His time, his energy, his love, his loyalty, these are not infinite resources. And so, he must be careful where he places them. A fool gives them to all who ask. A wise man gives them only to those who have proven themselves worthy. Never trust the man who asks for your sacrifice without offering anything in return. Never trust the one who makes you feel guilty for refusing. Never trust the one who frames his demands as a test of your loyalty. Because the moment you start giving to such a man, you will never stop. And we, as wisdom seekers, do not live to be drained. We live to build, to grow, to strengthen ourselves and those who walk with us. We do not waste ourselves on those who see us only as a means to an end. Let the takers find their own way. We have greater things ahead. Thing 5. When they ask for your loyalty, but do not give you theirs. Loyalty. It is the foundation of brotherhood, the unshakable bond between men who stand side by side through battles, hardships, and victories alike. It is the silent agreement that no matter what comes, no matter how dark the night, neither will abandon the other. But loyalty, like trust, is a two-way street. It must be earned, it must be proven, and it must never be given blindly, especially to those who demand it but offer nothing in return. Wisdom seekers, beware of those who ask for your loyalty while keeping none of their own. These people are everywhere, among friends, in business, in relationships, in families. They speak of honor, of duty, of standing together no matter what. But when the time comes to prove their own loyalty, when you need them to stand with you as you have stood with them, they are nowhere to be found. They vanish, they hesitate, or worse, they betray you at the first sign of personal gain. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Judge a man not by his words, but by the choices he makes when the path is difficult." A man who is loyal only when it is easy is not loyal at all. A man who demands your unwavering support but will not offer you the same in return is not your brother, he is your master. And a wise man serves no master. Look at the world around you. How many men have fallen because they placed their loyalty in the wrong hands? How many have been led into ruin, into betrayal, into disgrace, simply because they trusted men who spoke of loyalty but did not live by it? Some of the greatest empires have crumbled, not because of the strength of their enemies, but because of the treachery of those who claimed to be allies. Seneca warned, "A man who asks for loyalty but gives none in return is not seeking friendship, he is seeking servants." This is how weak men operate. They do not build loyalty through respect, through brotherhood, through shared hardship. They build it through manipulation. They make you feel as if you owe them something. They make you believe that your value as a man is tied to how unquestioningly you stand by them. And when the time comes for them to prove their own loyalty, they hesitate. They make excuses. They disappear. Have you ever been in a moment of true need? A time when you were struggling, when you needed someone to stand with you, to have your back as you had theirs? And have you ever looked around and found that the very people who once asked for your loyalty were nowhere to be seen? That they had turned their backs, distanced themselves, or worse, aligned with those who stood against you? That is the test. Loyalty is not proven in words. It is not proven in promises, in oaths, in speeches about brotherhood and unity. It is proven in action. When the fire rises, when the storm comes, when standing beside you costs something, that is when you will know who is truly loyal. And that is when you will see who never was. The most dangerous men in the world are those who wear the mask of loyalty but have none in their hearts. These men do not betray you openly. They string you along, making you believe that they are with you, that they will stand beside you no matter what. But when the moment of truth arrives, they weigh their options. They calculate what benefits them most. And if that calculation shows that betraying you, abandoning you, or turning against you is the better move, they will make it without hesitation. And when they do, they will have excuses. They will tell you that they had no choice, that it was out of their hands, that they wanted to be loyal, but circumstances forced them to act otherwise. They will rewrite history, twist the narrative, and try to make you believe that they never abandoned you at all. Do not listen. Do not be fooled, because the truth is simple. A man who is loyal only when it benefits him was never loyal to begin with. A man who claims he had no choice is a man who never valued you enough to make the hard choice. And yet the worst betrayal is not from strangers, not from enemies, but from those you once called brothers. That is why misplaced loyalty is so dangerous. It is not just a mistake, it is a wound that cuts deeper than any enemy could. But there is something even darker, something even more insidious. There are those who do not merely demand loyalty, they demand blind loyalty. They do not want your trust because they have earned it. They want your trust because they do not want to be questioned. They do not want to be held accountable. If you were truly loyal, you wouldn't ask so many questions. If you were a real friend, you'd stand by me no matter what. You need to choose a side. Are you with me or against me? Do you see the trap? Do you see the way they twist loyalty into something it was never meant to be? True loyalty is built on respect, on mutual strength, on an unspoken understanding that both men stand as equals. But false loyalty? False loyalty is demanded. It is enforced. It is turned into a test where the only way to prove yourself is to obey, to follow, to never question. That is not loyalty. That is submission. And a wise man does not submit. So what do you do when someone asks for your loyalty but does not give you theirs? You do not argue. You do not explain. You do not try to make them see reason. You walk away. You observe. You watch what they do when things become difficult. You see how they react when you need them, not just when they need you. And if they fail the test, if they disappear, if they hesitate, if they place themselves before you time and time again, then you owe them nothing. Because loyalty is not something that can be taken. It is something that must be given, freely, willingly, and in equal measure. Never trust the man who demands your loyalty but will not return it. Never trust the one who asks for your strength but is never there when you are weak. Never trust the one who speaks of brotherhood but acts in selfishness. Because the man who expects your loyalty without proving his own is not your ally. He is not your brother. He is not your friend. He is using you. And the moment he no longer needs you, the moment you are no longer useful, he will reveal what he has been all along. A man who serves only himself. As wisdom seekers, we do not waste our loyalty on those who are unworthy. We give it only to those who stand with us in the fire, who hold the line when others run, who do not need to demand our loyalty because they have already earned it. To such men, we are bound. To all others, we owe nothing. And with this truth we move forward. For there is still more to uncover. Thing 6. When they ask you to betray yourself. There is no greater danger to a man than the moment he is asked to turn against himself. This is the final test, the ultimate demand, the most insidious request of all. It will not always come with threats, it will not always come with force. Sometimes it will come in whispers, in persuasion, in the soft hands of those who claim to know what is best for you. But make no mistake, wisdom seekers, When someone asks you to betray yourself, they are not asking for your benefit. They are asking for their own. What does it mean to betray yourself? It means to go against your own values, to silence your own voice, to turn away from what you know is right just to please another. It is to trade your integrity for acceptance, to sell your principles for approval, to abandon your path because someone else has decided they do not like where it leads. No man is born into this world knowing exactly who he is. We spend our lives discovering it. Through trial, through hardship, through victories and defeats, we carve out our own philosophy, our own truth, our own way of walking through the world. And yet there will always be those who seek to rewrite it. Those who tell you that your way is wrong, that your beliefs are foolish, that your strength is dangerous. You should be more like us. Why do you think you know better than everyone else? If you don't change, you'll be alone. Do you hear the manipulation? Do you see the way they frame it, as if by being yourself, you are in the wrong? This is not a request for you to grow. This is not wisdom guiding you toward a better path. This is control. This is coercion. This is an attempt to make you abandon your own judgment so that you can be shaped into something more convenient, more compliant, more useful to them. A man who is strong in himself is dangerous, not because he threatens others, not because he seeks to harm, but because he cannot be controlled. And there is nothing more terrifying to the weak, to the manipulators, to the deceivers, than a man who thinks for himself. That is why they will try to break you, not with force, but with doubt. They will tell you that your instincts are wrong, that your values are outdated, that your way of thinking is flawed. And if they cannot make you doubt, they will make you feel alone. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul that remains true to itself is unshakable. The man who bends to please others is already lost." How many men have lost themselves trying to fit in? How many have given up their strength, their beliefs, their purpose, just to be accepted by a world that does not care for them? They change their words to avoid offending. They change their actions to gain approval. They change their direction, not because they believe it is right, but because they are afraid of what will happen if they do not. But what happens when you betray yourself? At first, nothing. At first, there is relief. You have avoided conflict. You have gained approval. You have made things easier for yourself. But then, something begins to rot inside you. Because deep down, you know that you have turned away from what you believed. You know that you have silenced your own voice. And worst of all, you know that the people who convinced you to do it do not truly respect you. They respect only that you obeyed. Seneca warned, "A man who bends for approval will bend until he breaks. And when he is broken, those who demanded it will step over him without a second thought." A man who betrays himself does not gain love. He does not gain respect. He does not gain true acceptance. He becomes hollow. He becomes a reflection of what others want rather than what he truly is. And the longer he walks this path, the harder it is to return. But here is the worst part. Once you betray yourself once, it becomes easier to do it again, and again, and again, until one day you wake up and realize that you no longer recognize the man in the mirror. You are no longer the warrior you once were, the man of principle, the man of strength. You have become a puppet, your strings pulled by those who once asked you to make just one small change, just one small compromise, just one slight bending of your values. And when the time comes that you need to stand for something, when the moment arrives where your soul demands that you fight, you will find that you no longer can. Because the man who betrays himself once will eventually betray himself always. So, what do you do when someone asks you to turn against yourself? You stand firm. You refuse. You let them call you difficult. You let them call you stubborn. You let them call you arrogant, selfish, unreasonable, because these are the words of those who have no power over you. These are the cries of those who see that you are unbreakable. And an unbreakable man is feared. They will tell you that you are wrong. They will tell you that you are foolish. They will tell you that if you do not change, you will lose everything. And maybe for a time you will. Maybe you will lose friends, maybe you will lose acceptance, maybe you will lose comfort, but you will not lose yourself. And that is the only thing that truly matters. A man who stands firm in his truth, no matter what the world says, is a rare thing. And in a world that constantly demands that you change, that you comply, that you become something softer, weaker, easier to control, such a man is a threat. Not because he seeks destruction, but because he cannot be bought, cannot be swayed, cannot be made to turn against himself. Never trust the man who asks you to betray yourself. Never trust the one who tells you that you must change to be accepted. Never trust the one who makes you doubt your own voice, your own path, your own worth. Because the moment you give them what they want, they will not reward you. They will not honor you. They will not give you what you sacrificed yourself to earn. They will discard you. Because a man who betrays himself for the approval of others is not respected. He is pitied. And we, wisdom seekers, do not live to be pitied. We do not live to be molded into something that pleases others. We live to be ourselves, in our full strength, in our full truth, in our full power. So when the world demands that you change, when the voices around you tell you to bend, when someone stands before you and asks for the one thing no man should ever give, his own soul, there's only one answer. No, because we are not here to fit in. We are here to stand tall.